The 2024 Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race is underway. The Boxing Day spectacle on Sydney Harbour as the fleet set off on the 628 nautical mile race to Hobart, Tasmania, is one of the iconic scenes in sailing. After a superb start, LawConnect was the first boat through the Sydney Heads, but was then hampered by issues with the furling line on their downwind Code Zero, handing the lead to Master Lock Comanche in the battle of the 100-foot supermaxis. There has already been drama with defending champion Alive, owned by Philip Turner and skippered by Duncan Hine, which became the first casualty of the 2024 race, withdrawing because of engine issues. And then Transcendence Ruby Project, the double-handed father and son duo Martin and John Cross, who were dismasted after completing 50 miles of the race.
Look, the Rolex Sydney to Hobart, I mean, it's just, there's nothing else like it. I mean, just look at the amount of spectators on either side of that course on a day after Christmas Day, you know, loving the scenery, loving the sport of yachting, wishing everyone, you know, success as they sail off on their journeys. It's incredibly spectacular.
The Cruising Yacht Club of Australia ends up extremely busy on Boxing Day for the start of the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race, with a huge hustle and bustle on the pontoons. Then Sydney Harbour ends up a really narrow racetrack just due to the sheer size of the Spectator fleet, but it was LawConnect that made that early running and managed to get that early lead over Master Lock Comanche. Just outside Sydney Heads is where LawConnect had the problem with their furler, and this is what allowed Master Lock Comanche to power downwind with their huge Jenica. John Curnow, SailWorld.com's Australian editor, is following every minute of the Rolex Sydney Hobart. Let's get his thoughts on how things played out in the harbour. Hi, John.
Mark, Merry Christmas to everyone as well, of course. It was a wonderful start, and the nor'easter meant that the harbour was full of breeze, allowing everybody to get out, and especially so for LawConnect, who have a real thing on being first out of the Heads, which they achieved in such great style. What happened after that, of course, with the furler, just highlighted how important it is for everything to be perfect on board, and the furler was threaded the wrong way. And there's a story currently on Sail World where Tony Mutter explains from live on board, as they're roughly 100 nautical miles already down the track, what happened a few hours ago.
It's got to be gutting for them when they'd pulled off such a good start and something like that happens on board.
Look, I know they're all, you know, terribly disappointed by that, but actually when you see them, they know that the job's actually ahead, not behind. So what they've done is they've just said, we now need to get on. There's a sort of a 7-odd nautical mile gap between them, and they're just going to really work on that with a probably slightly westerly favoured track for them at the moment, which means that when the westerly arrives in a few hours' time, they're probably slightly better off at the moment. So it's well and truly all to play for still. It's not behind them, it's all in front.
Do you think the conditions are looking favourable for a record run here, John?
Absolutely. You know, there is no doubt that they can achieve Tasman Island in 20 hours, which then, of course, gives them time to get up across Storm Bay and then up the Derwent proper to achieve the result of 1 day, 9 hours being the record currently held by Comanche, and she's smashing away at over 24 knots currently. So yes, I think it's achievable. There's still the matter of the speed hump down around Maria Island off the southeastern coast of Tasmania, but we'll get to that. For now, I think they're all aiming very heavily to get to St Helens as fast as they can, because there is a nor'wester bending around the top of the Tasmanian island that will, again, help send them south. And the name of the game at the moment is south, though the drag race is on.
7 nautical miles. This actually could play into quite a big advantage for Comanche come the end of the race. So do you think that furler issue could end up being decisive?
Look, it's certainly something you would want to be doing without. But, you know, we saw that they took 3 nautical miles out of them inside the last half an hour or so of the race in the Derwent last year, and then win by 51 seconds. So really, it is a problem. But if you focus on that, you're not going to look at your advantage. And as I say, at the moment, they're in a slightly more westerly track heading in towards Gaybo Island, which is probably where they're going to meet, firstly, the trough and then the front after it. So my bet is that it's more about jumping off from New South Wales to Tasmania at the moment, being that very first important gear change or transition, and then there'll be the one further down the Tasmanian coast.
Well, John, we'll keep tracking as things go along and take a look at how this is going to play out. Many thanks indeed for your time.
Oh, look, it's great. Really enjoying it. Thanks, Mark.
Once they'd sorted out their furler issue, LawConnect was in pursuit of Master Lock Comanche. Christian Beck gives us an update from the stern quarter of the boat.
Christian, hi, mate. Really great to talk with you. Thanks so much for making time as you're flying down the coast at about 27 knots. Well done.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
And we get the spray on the face to prove it.
That's right, yeah.
Christian, one of the things that you always love is being first out the heads, and you did it in absolute style with a really good lead in just on 10 minutes. You must be delighted.
Yeah, I was. I thought that was, too good to be true almost. I couldn't believe it. That was great.
Absolutely. Now, we've obviously witnessed the furler problem, and you got past that, which was great, and you got the spray out of the eyes now.
Yep.
So things are looking good. You're in a slightly westerly track position over Comanche, who's about 7 nautical miles in front of you. But of course, that slightly westerly track is going to serve you well by the time you get down to Green Cape.
Yeah, that's right. I think at the moment it's really just a question of how our mode goes versus their mode. I mean, we're a bit deeper, and we've got an A7 up, which is, we don't really know what they've got up, but we've probably got a bit more sail area than them. But their boat's better than ours. It kind of doesn't nosedive as much as ours does. So when you see that hit me, that's normally when the boat's nosedived.
Absolutely. And the next big thing will be the transition over to Tasmania. You'll be looking to probably be somewhere in around St Helens, not quite on the beach, but nearly. How are you planning on getting through the southern part of Tasmania once you get there, given that there's going to be a bit of a lee being produced with the westerly airflow?
Look, I think the pro sailors here, no one really knows what it's going to be like till we get there, really. Like, a good outcome would be we get through most of it. There's still good wind when we get to that point, and we can travel down the Tasmanian coast pretty well. But I don't think anyone knows till we get there what it's likely to be like, actually.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. You know, the lottery, and you'll draw whatever you draw from the handful of sticks at the time.
Yeah, well, it might be that you've got to stay off the island a bit to keep the wind, but it might also be that the further out you've got, the more sort of like seaway you'll get, and also the more likely you have to sail a fair bit upwind later. So it's a bit of a compromise that no one really knows what the best thing to do is at the moment.
Absolutely, and look, for now, you've got to get the eyes set ready for the change, probably somewhere around midnight to 2 a.m, sometime in that bracket there, and you'll probably, reduce sail area even further?
Yeah, well, at the moment we've got the A7 up, and we're ready to be able to drop that and go to a J2 or a J3. But I think that if it stays like this, we can probably stick with the A7. But obviously when that westerly comes across, we'll definitely be dropping the A7 and probably on a jib, and then see where we go from there.
Absolutely. And you never know, it might be a little bit more southerly than is expected with a due west to sort of start with. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Looking forward to seeing if you can get the magic back to back.
Of course. And look, I think this race has still got its chances, because you've kind of got potential of light weather in the Derwent like last year. You've got the potential of light weather behind Tasmania, and that would be good. You've also got the potential of us catching them or catching up to them in this mode we're in now. You know, so there's a few opportunities we've got. There's also a risk of damage. I mean, the estimate was we've probably each got about a 20% chance of breaking something, and that plays into it as well. So there's a lot to go in this race, really.
And a lot of the sailors on board are never say die kind of people, so I'm sure they're cracking the whip and making sure that you take it to just near that breaking point that you've been talking about.
That's right. I mean, we're certainly not letting Comanche off easy. We're going to make sure that they're under pressure all the time. And we want them to be as stressed out as possible. So without breaking ourselves, you know, that's basically the strategy.
Yeah, push and push. On to really important things. How's the watch system going? If you lock that in now, you're already in watch mode?
Yeah, well, what's sort of happening is the pro sailors are doing shifts already and taking rest breaks because it's going to be a tough night for them. Us corporates, we're going to go below deck at about 8 o'clock tonight and stay there till we get, you know, past the start of the change. So we'll be out of it till about 5 a.m. So that's the approach we've taken, mostly just because it's just a tough situation. So that optimises the ability to put the weight in the right spot, etc., and keep it safe.
Absolutely. So you'll be down below in the pipe cots.
Oh, for sure. From about 8 o'clock, I'll be there till about 5 a.m. I'd say.
Fantastic. And more importantly, the dinner's on and everybody's going to get a good feed up first.
Well, it's not too bad. Like, I made some coffees for some of the crew not long ago, and it's okay. I brought along a ham from leftovers from yesterday. We've eaten that, so the food's not too bad. But I think when it's rough, I tend to not eat a lot, and I think a lot of the others perhaps may not be eating a lot either later because it's just sort of too difficult, and you don't want to be too heavily stomach and getting up too much and stuff, you know.
Absolutely. Well, Christian, from this end, it obviously remains to, as I say thank you, but also wish you the very, very best for a super powerful evening where you get to hold the boat into the one piece and get out the other side and into the morning.
Thank you. I appreciate that, John.
And we look forward to talking with you tomorrow as well. Appreciate it.
All right. No worries at all. Thanks, John. Nice talking to you.
Really good. Have a great one.
Thank you. See ya. Bye.
See ya.
The PredictWind routing option for Comanche, compiled by sailworld.com's Richard Gladwell, shows them initially using that northerly to pile their way south, but then it is the westerly that comes in as they approach Tasmania, lightening off for a bit before strengthening again as they make their way further south, and then it comes into this zone where it's lighter as they make their way towards Hobart, and this could be where the race is won or lost.
Hello all, we're sitting on the mighty Solace with the skipper Paul. Anything clever to say?
Having a great time, had a beautiful meal, had a bit of a lie down. Life is good.
Tom's driving the hell out of it, driving like he stole it. Everyone else seems moderately amused. Sun's going to go down behind us. Life's good.
We will continue to bring you the latest news from the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race and the Vendée Globe on this channel. And please do subscribe using the button down here. Also take a look at sailworld.com and yachtsandyachting.com where we bring you continuous news from both races.